I know that you're taking this first step to help increase your education, to achieve some goals, possibly to earn a better income. You may have a career in mind that you want to build, and you definitely want a better life. So congratulations on this first step. All right, on the next slide, we will take a look at what we will cover today in orientation. And although it may not seem like it the whole time this morning, everything that we do today will assist you in your journey in reaching your goal. We will discuss the first steps, the next steps that you will take in reaching your goal of your diploma. So what are we going to do today? Well, you've already been welcomed, but welcome again. We will talk about college and career readiness and who we are. We'll talk about why you were here. We'll take a look at class schedules, although in this day and age, they're a little different than what they typically are. We'll look at classroom agreements. We'll look at opportunities that you have here at Sandhills. Test will explain the HSE testing information and help you decide which test is most appropriate for you. We'll look at safety and security. We'll look at barriers and provide some supportive information for you, some agencies that can help you. And then we'll discuss reaching your graduation goal. So who are we? College and career readiness is part of Sandhills College. We actually specialize in adult basic education, high school equivalency, English language acquisition. Typically, we offer classes in the daytime, evening, or online. Currently, all of our classes are online, and as far as the work that you can do, the lessons you prepare, that's pretty much on your time, whether it's daytime or evening. We have campuses at Hoke, the Hoke Center down in Rayford, at our main campus, of course, and then also at Robbins. College and career readiness in this day and age looks a little different than normally. We've all been impacted by COVID-19. I'm sure in your workplaces, it's a totally different environment than normally, and that's the same here at Sandhills. Now, all of our opportunities are through distance learning, or for the most part they are. And we do offer lessons on paper if you do not have internet, but if you do have internet, the internet access that is, then our distance learning online is really the best option for you. And we hope that you'll take advantage of that. All right, so let's take a look at the design of our classes now. Typically, classrooms, of course, consisted of you coming to the room and participating in person, but that's not possible in this day and age. So what do we offer? We have class sessions via Zoom, just like today we're meeting via Zoom. Our lessons are actually conducted by the instructors on Zoom. Some use other platforms as well. You are expected to attend the Zoom lessons. Teachers may have 1 to 4 times a week that they're actually conducting Zoom sessions, and you're not required to come to all of those. They provide them at different times so that it can meet the schedule for everybody. But we do ask that you attend at least 1 per week. We ask you to participate in the classroom discussions and also ask questions during that time. You will be provided a schedule of these by your instructor. Beyond that, though, we expect you to complete lessons. Some of these may be online through Khan Academy, Google Classroom, Edmentum, McGraw-Hill. Your instructor will talk to you about what's best for you and what they offer in their classrooms. But if you don't have internet, then we can also provide you with paper packets that you can complete. You'll complete the lesson, send it back to us, and then we'll mail the next lesson to you. So everyone should participate in Zoom classes. but in addition to that, you have other lessons via online or through the paper packets. So why are you here? Some of you may just want to get that diploma that you never got when you were in high school. Others may be trying to get a job that pays more money. So you're here to improve your status in your job, in the job market, so that you can earn a better income. Some of you may actually have a dream already in mind of you want to be a nurse, or you want to work on cars, or some other career that you have in mind. And so in order to get to that point, you know that you need your high school equivalency diploma, and that's why you're here. So what we want to do now is take a look at some of our student successes. We have a video of a former student who went through our program because she wanted to do more with her life, and she has a great story. So we're going to go ahead and listen to her story.
I decided to pursue my high school equivalency at Sandhills because my husband actually convinced me to. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade, and I was really nervous about the time frame, about being out of school for so long, and my anxiety really got to me. I was like, I've been out of school for too long and I can't go back because I don't remember anything. I completed my HSE in August, which actually only took a short time. Like, everybody's varies, but it took a short time to complete it. After I completed my HSE, I enrolled in Sandhills, and I knew that I wanted to be in the nursing program. So I took my AccuPlacer test and placed directly into the nursing program, and it has been so much simpler than I thought. The program's been really good, the instructors are very good, and it's just a wonderful thing to know that I am on my way to my career goals. If you're nervous about doing the HSE program, just do it. Like, the worst thing that can happen if you don't do it is you never accomplish anything. But if you try, the best thing that can happen is that you do accomplish. And it's so simple. It's a lot easier than your brain tells you.
We also have a current student in our Zoom session today, and she's going to share some information about how she was able to be successful in this program, and especially right now with everything being through distance learning, how do you make it successful? Because it is more difficult. It takes a whole lot more self-discipline on your part. So Michelle, if you would share a few comments with our group right now, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. It's a great privilege to be here and to just try to give you a little bit of insight on what it looks like for me since I started the program. I started the program 1 year ago on March 12th, and I was just like the same person that was on the video there. I had been out of school for a very long time, and I just come back to school at the age of 51. So I've been out of school for over 30 something odd years, and the beginning I just thought, I can't do it, it's just too much, it's overwhelming. But the main thing was to get around my head why I was doing this and who I was doing it for. So this is something that I have been wanting to do as I was a young person that dropped out of school, headed to the 12th grade, and life just changed. So as I got older, I didn't think I could, make it and have get a diploma, because I had children and I became a mother and I was a wife and I had a career. I had a 20-year banking career without a high school diploma. So I've already had a career. So when I went into the program, it was about me doing what I needed to do for me that had taken a long time because of fear. So we have to set fear aside and let us, fear is only going to paralyze you if you allow it to. So I put my mouth and my feet into action, because the most important thing is to bring what you're thinking out of your head, to bring it down to your heart, and then put it in action. So that's what I did. So I'm going to give you just a few takeaways on what I did. And I have taken all 3 courses, and I have math is the last course that I'm taking currently to get my GED. Math is not a self-taught class. I learned that. I have to have help in math. It's just not one that I can master. There's some things I know the basics, but I'm glad that Mr. Collier is offering these classes, and they have been very, very helpful into areas where I thought I understood things when I really didn't. So I'm glad. Thank you for setting that up so that we could take advantage of that tool. But the main thing I want to talk about is when you get into this program, you have to stay committed. You have to stay the course. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what's going on. Don't pay attention to the things that's going on around you. Just stay focused and stay committed and stay the course. Next thing you need to do is find yourself an accountability partner. Find someone who's going to hold you accountable when you're going through the course. I have a huge support team here with my children and my grandchildren and my husband. He's my #1 fan, but he says to me, you know, stay the course. With COVID-19 being out, I'm telling you, there are so many things that can cause you to get distracted and try to get off the course. What I'm saying again is, don't worry about all the things that's going on around us. Stay the course. Don't deviate from the course, and keep your eyes on what you're doing. The next thing I want to tell you is to set aside some study time. That's important. It's important. Just like Ms. Sykes said, you have to attend the classes. I'm so heartbroken that COVID-19 took away me coming into class, because that was critical for me. It was critical that I get up every day. It was critical that I went into class, because I knew if I stayed at home, there would be other distractions, like my dog or someone ringing the doorbell or the phone's ringing. There's just so much that can get you off course. And then once you're off course, it takes a little bit of discipline to get back on course. So the main thing is to remain disciplined, remain committed, and get that accountability partner, and stay in the classes. It's critical. If you're going to be going in once a week, twice a week, whatever that looks like, do that. Set aside study time. That was my biggest thing, because I knew how to set aside study time when I was when we were having our church services. So what I did is I just kind of used the study time that I used to read my Bible, and I implemented that into my work time. So there's a certain time of the day that I would study, which I still do. And what I do is I get up in the morning as if I'm going to school, and I set that time to be at my desk by 8:30. At 8:30, from 12 o'clock, I take a break. 12:30 to 2 o'clock, I'm done. So that's the mindset that I've kept since we've been in school and since we've been out of school. Some days it hasn't worked like that, because I've had other things that have come in, you know, appointments and whatnot, but it does work. Study habits are great. If you don't have any, try to develop them and set aside some time to do that. And one more thing, and I'm not going to take up the whole class. Don't worry about failing. You fail when you fail to try. You have to try. Quitting, you have to tell yourself, like I told myself, quitting is not an option. It's not an option for me. Even being at home with all the COVID-19, it's not an option, because I'm that much closer. And not only do I talk to you guys, but I talk to my grandkids, because they're really frustrated because they can't go back to school right now because of everything that's going on. So I try to give them some tips that would help them, you know, at the age of 8 years old, and they're trying to figure out, well, what's going on. So I try to let them know we have work to do. We can't stop just because we're not in a physical classroom, or we're not having that physical face-to-face. You can still achieve your goals from Zoom classes, homework in the mail. Amazon has a wonderful variety of used books. I started getting all of my books from Amazon when I started my classes. And I have every book, which I'm so blessed that I was able to get the material and utilize the material at home. And that's why I'm able to do a lot of self-study, because of the material that I've utilized and I've put in my library. So it really helps if you have something tangible. I like the computer. I'm not always on my computer. I'm a more of a see, do, hands-on person. I have to physically touch it. I like to highlight, mark, take notes. So know that Amazon has a great variety of used books that are out there for whatever courses that you may need. If you need all 4 courses, all 3 courses, 1 course, they have a great variety, and the books are very inexpensive, and they do come in used, and they come in really good condition. So with that being said, stay the course, utilize your resources, utilize your instructor. That's what they're there for. Utilize them for things that you may not understand. Like I said, math is just one subject that I just can't do a self-taught. I can't teach myself math. Now, the English, I failed my first English official test, and I was in tears. I was so upset, and I wanted to give up at that moment. But Miss Copeland, who was my instructor at the time, I talked to her and she said, this is not the end. We get up and we try, we dust our stuff off and we try again. So I went back. I had wonderful study guides to show me where I needed to be improved, where I needed to improve in those areas. So I did that, and I waited 3 weeks, and I went back and I took the test and I passed it. Social studies wasn't a great class of mine either. I passed it on the first try. Science was another that I didn't really have a whole lot of knowledge of, and science was not one of my greatest subjects in high school anyway. I hated science. Well, I had to take it twice. Well, the first time I passed, and I was like, well, what did I do wrong? I'm trying to figure out, it wasn't what I didn't do wrong. It's just that I needed just a little bit more time. And I realized that I needed a little bit more study time to make sure that I'm able to grasp and comprehend and understand what I'm doing. Because it's one thing to do something, but it's to understand what you're doing and read your questions. Some of the questions are going to ask you different things, and you're going to be able to think that that question is the same you saw in your book, but they're just going to word it differently. So pay close attention to your wordings, study, 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 study. That's the best thing I could say, is just study. Do take a break, because I do take a break every now and then. I have to, because my brain gets fried, doing this. And I make it my business to do it Monday through Thursday, because Friday and Saturday and Sundays are my times to spend with my family. So I just encourage all of you to make sure that this is something that you're going to stay committed to. Remain committed. And again, I say, stay the course. Stay the course. Don't deviate from the course. Because at the end of the day and at the end of the journal, there's joy. And then you'll be able to walk across that stage with joy, knowing that quitting was just not an option for you.
Thank you, Michelle. Wonderful advice. And Michelle had told me previously that she had to set a schedule in order to make this work. And I thought, what great advice to share with all of you, because you can't just say, well, I'm going to do this later on when I get around to it or when I feel like it or whatever. You have to actually set that schedule and know that you're going to work on it at this time, and then take that break. Have your own time, your free time, but make sure you get this scheduled and accomplished. The other thing that she said that just really means a whole lot is she said, failure only means the failure to try. So when you take that first test and maybe you don't pass, and I'll be honest, a lot of times people are so nervous on that first test that they don't pass. It's not a failure. It's, let me see what I need to do to pass this next time. The only time it's a failure is when you quit. So don't quit. Keep on working towards your goal.
So speaking of schedules, this slide will show you what our schedules look like when we are on campus. But as you know, right now, that's not happening. We're all online at this moment. Hopefully one day we can go back to this. We hope in the fall we can go to some limited version of this. But that's the old schedule at this point. Next slide, please.
There we go.
There we go. So listening to Michelle talk about what it has taken her to be successful. We refer to a classroom agreement. When you get the contact from your instructor, once you've completed orientation, they're going to talk to you about what it takes to be successful. Everybody whoever comes through the program wants to know, how long is it going to take to finish? Well, Michelle just told you, it's all about commitment. It's all about focus, setting up the system and the process that works for you. Our system is designed to help you, and we have resources available to help you, but it's going to take a few things from you. One is we ask that you attend at least one Zoom session a week. Now you can attend 4, 5, or 6 Zoom sessions a week, and that's only going to further your progress more. You are asked to complete a minimum of 8 hours a week, but that's a minimum. If you want to put in 30 hours a week, you're welcome to do that. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out, and the faster you're going to get to your goal. There are times when life happens and you can't be in class. We ask that you communicate with your instructor to let them know what's going on. That's real important. They plan their lessons based on your attendance and your participation. So if you can't participate, please shoot them an email, text, let them know what's going on. At some period of time after you have obtained between 40 and 60 hours of class time, we're going to contact you and ask you to come and take another test. Nobody likes to take a test, but they are how we keep things moving. That's how we know that our instruction is working, that you're making progress and headed in the right direction. Every one of you took a test before you could come to orientation. It's that similar kind of test that you'll be taking again. Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. We refer to that as FERPA. The short version of that is that your educational information cannot be given to anybody else without your written consent. If you would like to read more information about that, please go on the college website and access that information.
Okay, my turn. So one of the perks of my job is not only do I help you out when it comes to official testing, whether you choose to do GED or HiSET, but I can tell you about the resources that Sandhills offers you. So we are stationed in the continuing education department, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about what that means. So continuing education classes are very diverse because our students and our staff are all diverse. So what we have are career training options or job training. We have college level classes, job certification, or online classes. All of these lead up to different opportunities for you once you attain your HSE diploma. So what we have, to break it down a little bit better, is we have different departments within continuing education based on whatever career you see yourself doing or furthering along in. So what we have is advanced manufacturing, and of course this has welding or machining classes that have to do with working in big factories. There's a huge job shortage of these positions, so that means more money. Other classes that we have are construction that are growing to be more popular since COVID has occurred. This can be HVAC, plumbing, electrical classes, or construction management. So if you are already working in this particular department, you can gain another certification and make more money in that job. Other departments that we have are public safety, which of course goes along with if you want to become a police officer, EMS, or fire safety. We have a beautiful public safety training center that you would be using if you decide to pursue this career, where there's a burn building. You would work with fire hoses, working with local fire departments to get that certification, to get that knowledge so you could be successful in that career. Another department that we have is technology. So some of these classes are more fun classes. They're not necessarily geared towards a career, but they can help you out in the career that you are already in if you work in an office setting. So this can be cybersecurity or gaining more in-office skills such as Microsoft Office or Excel, Outlook, things like that, to where you would be more prepared than the person next to you when it comes to that job interview. You can't ever have too many certifications when you work in an office setting. It makes yourself look better to the employer, and it makes you a better employee to that establishment. So other classes that continuing education offers is healthcare. So some students that come through here have a desire to be in the nursing field or work with patients in the healthcare field. So that could be EKG with heart monitors. That can be phlebotomy. It could be working in a healthcare office setting where you would be admitting patients, helping them out with billing or setting up appointments. We have classes that would give you that certification so you could pursue that as a career. Other classes that we have is automotive technology. So if you have a desire to work in vehicles, we have auto safety or emissions control classes where you get that certification and you can do that as a job. We have business classes that I mentioned before, to where you can pursue certifications that can help you out in an office setting. There's real estate classes, of course, and then hospital and food service industry. All of the classes that continuing education offer are certification classes. It's not a 2-year degree. It's one of those, it's a department to where you don't see yourself sitting in a classroom setting for too long. A lot of the times the students that come through the GED program have a desire to jump into the working force, and we love that. And so we want to help you out by giving you certifications to where you can go and pursue a career in that certification. We are separate but equal when it comes to a 2-year program. If you do desire to have a 2-year program, we have the resources to help you out and pursue that once you get your diploma. So of course, for 2-year program, the classes are a bit different. So for an example, we have automotive technologies, to where you would learn the ins and outs of a vehicle if you decided to work with cars. For aviation, if you wanted to become a pilot, we have a partnership with the Moore County Airport, to where you would get the first 2 years of that program with fly time. You would do, of course, the in-class setting, and then they would set you up with a pilot and a plane at the Moore County Airport for you to get the hands-on experience. We have a very popular cosmetology department, as well as criminal justice, and then fire protection technology, golf course management, nursing, and massage therapy, and landscape gardening. All the programs that Sandhills has to offer are very diverse and very popular. We have great partnerships around the Moore County and Hoke County areas, to where once you are done with your education, we can help find you a job. Or you may already have a career and you just want to get another certification to either make more money, which is a great option, or you want to maybe get a promotion within that job. It's never a bad idea to have as many certifications under your belt. That way you're more of a likable employee, as well as you're more helpful in that area. So the question that everyone always asks, and the answers that we have for you, whether you want to do GED or HiSET. So there are 2 different tests that you can take to get your HSE diploma. The most popular one, of course, is GED. One that a lot of people do not know about is HiSET. So there's a few differences between the 2 that you can see on this screen here. So the first is, of course, prices. So GED, the total amount for the exam is $80. It's $20 per subject area, because there are 4 different tests. So there's reasoning through language arts, so the English. There's mathematical reasoning, which is math, and then of course science and social studies. Now GED is computer-based only. There isn't a paper version of the test, so if you decided to pursue GED, you would be taking the exam on a computer. The tests themselves vary in time. So mathematical reasoning is the longest of all of the tests. Typically, students who sign up for the exam only take that one just one that day. So science and social studies, majority of the time, the students do sign up for both of those in the same day just to get them out of the way. We do provide, of course, a calculator and scrap pieces of paper for the exams. So you only have to bring yourself with a photo ID. We will take care of the rest. Now, for HiSET, it's a little bit different than GED. The reason being is you can either take it on the computer or you can take it on paper. So what that would mean is we would give you the test book and then a bubble sheet, and you fill it out on the bubble sheet. You give it to us and we mail it, and HiSET employees grade it and then upload your score to your profile. The paper is a little bit more expensive only because we have to mail it. We don't come up with the prices for GED or HiSET. Those are already pre-mandated by the testing vendors. Or you can take HiSET on the computer. Now, the main difference between GED and HiSET is the way that they break down the tests. So there's 5 tests total for HiSET, only because English is broken up into the reading test, and then there is a writing essay test. So it appears that there are more tests, but really it's only because language arts is broken up into 2 different ones. It's one of the main reasons why students pick GED over HiSET is because there are less tests, but there really overall isn't. It's just English is broken up differently than what GED did. So again, you can either take HiSET for paper-based if you prefer not to be on the computer at all, or you can do paper or computer-based if you're comfortable with being on a computer. And again, the tests are all laid out a little bit differently in terms of time. Again, math is probably the longest one out of all of them, and science and social studies are shorter timed. So we do give you a calculator and scrap pieces of paper for the exam. All you do is just bring yourself in a photo ID. Okay, so for GED, the main thing that you need to know is security of the test. So when you come to take the test, finally, either GED or HiSET, we give you a locker because you're not allowed to bring anything into the testing room with you. You only bring yourself and a photo ID. So that means no cell phone, no coats or hoodies, unfortunately, bags and purses, jewelry such as a watch or big earrings, necklaces, anything like that, scarves. We give you a key to a locker, and you keep that key with you so that way you know your stuff is safe. But unfortunately, you can't bring anything into the testing room with you. We'll have the scrap paper and calculator, pencils, everything set up for you already in there. You just come in, sit down, and worry about taking the exam. That's it. We try and make it as hassle-free as humanly possible, and we try to minimize the amount of distractions that could occur in the room. With COVID, one thing to note that you do have to wear a mask when you come and take the exam. And then we do social distance, so there's very limited people in the testing room, which is kind of nice in itself because that lowers the amount of possible distractions as well. We do offer vouchers for the exams, so you get the second test that you take, so you would pay for the first test, whether you choose GED or HiSET. And then that second test, when you decide to take that second subject test, that is free to the student because we give you a voucher, as well as the last exam that you decide to take. Any additional vouchers are available. That's just something you do have to discuss with either Ms. Kimbrell or Ms. Sykes, and we can see what we can do for you.
We've talked before about communication and how important it is for you all to communicate with the instructors. It's also important for us to get information to you. This is a very important slide. I would encourage you all to take a picture of this slide and go onto the college website and sign up to receive text alerts. You can always go onto the college website. There'll be a banner across the top that tells you anything updated that's happening right now. But if you want to get text alerts, I would highly recommend that for you. Make sure you go on and check it out. Also, in light of communication, if you have a cell phone and your mailbox has not been set up or it's full, please check that, get that in order. check your emails regularly. Your instructors will be given your contact information. They will be reaching out to you soon to get you up and running in class. And sometimes they reach out to you to check on you. Make sure you have a way that they can communicate and talk to you and that you can share back with them. Your safety and security at Sandhouse are very, very, very important. While you're on the college website signing up for those text alerts, make sure you check out the information on safety and security and check out the information where you can report a concern that you may have concerning your safety or someone else's safety on campus.
We want you to know that you're instructors and we are here to help you overcome some of those barriers. We also work closely with some agencies, and we have a couple of presenters today with us who are going to tell about some of the services they provide at their agency. So we will begin with NC Works and Donna Stone. Donna, would you like to say a few words to our group?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Congratulations on all of y'all for signing up for Sand Hills and starting your new career. That's a big step, and a lot of people are here to help you along that way. I am the operations manager for NC Works in Scotland and Hope County, but there's an NC Works in every county just about in North Carolina that is here to help you in any way that we can. Some of the things that NC Works offers is career planning and counseling, basic skills assessments, adult education, as already been mentioned, is provided there, labor market information, job readiness services such as resumes, interviewing skills, soft skills, and we can also link you to other partners in the county that may be of assistance to you. A big thing that we do here that is with the Career Center side, we also have the Workforce Innovations Opportunity Act, the WIO program, which I worked in for 2 years. It is a wonderful program if you qualify for it to assist students with educational support, paying for books, tuition, supplies. And then after you get your training and graduate, can help with job search, placement, that type of thing. Working with the students that do qualify, or people that do, are students that come into our center or call us, we work with that student to help them get jobs. If they would like, if they need jobs to work around their school schedule, we search for jobs that will help with that. If they are in the WIA program, the WIA program will also help you look for jobs along with assist with the payment of your classes and needed supplies. We're also, I think, like to see us as like cheerleaders, you know, encouraging students, complete what you started, giving them moral support, and, you know, like, you know, we get really involved if we're working with a student, and if they, like you mentioned, if they have a bad test grade, we give tips about what they could do to increase their the grade on their next test, contact their instructors, get tutors. We provide a lot of supportive services. When someone contacts us, we try to provide every service that we can to make them successful at school, in their job search, any way we can. Right now, the center itself is closed to the public, but we have career advisors working from home that can do everything by phone and by computer that can be done in person. So we have not slowed down in what we do. We're just doing it in a different manner at this time until we open back up to the public. I want to mention, any students from Hope County, just give us a call and we will assist you in any way that we can. And I'm sure the same for the NC Works in Moore County. Please reach out to us and see what services we can offer you.
Great, thank you. All right, now we have Katie from North Carolina Health and Human Services. So Katie, if you'll join us and share your information.
My name is Katie. I work for Vocational Rehabilitation. We're a state agency, part of Health and Human Services. And we help people who have disabilities return to work, is basically what our mission is. We have an office in Pinehurst, and we have an office in our Pinehurst office covers both Moore County and Hoke County. And then we have offices that cover all the other counties if you happen to be in a surrounding one. A person's eligible for vocational rehabilitation if they have a disability or a diagnosis that impacts their ability to go to work or be successful in school or advance their career in the job that they have. So example diagnoses might be, we can cover everything, like medical diagnoses like diabetes or epilepsy or cardiac issues, COPD. We see people with mental health conditions, maybe depression and anxiety can be common, but we also see individuals with bipolar disorder, PTSD, and then we also see individuals who have cognitive issues like autism, learning disability, ADHD, and I'm just touching on some examples. So you can see that eligibility can be a wide, broad spectrum of people with various types of conditions or disability or diagnoses. So if you're eligible for VR services, and that's based on your medical records or your psychological records, or maybe your past school records even, then you get together paired with a counselor and the two of you map out a plan for what kind of services do you need in order to return to work and to meet your job goals. So that plan, that service plan is extremely individualized based on your diagnosis, your particular challenges, and what do you need to do in order to meet your job goal. So the main services that we provide include education and training. We support community college. Some of our clients go to university. Some people do training more informally, like on the job or in an internship. We do help with job placement at the end of a person's service plan. We provide, rehabilitation technology, which might be like a hearing aid or a prosthetic limb or a communication device. And then we also, some people could have a diagnosis that requires treatment, but they don't have health insurance or an ability to pay for that treatment. So vocational rehabilitation can cover the cost of medical treatment or the cost of psychological treatment if the person's financially eligible for that. So we provide all these services, and throughout we provide guidance and counseling, vocational, specific to your career goals and your needs related to your specific challenges or your, disabling or diagnosis. So the counseling is related to helping you through all these services with an eye on the job market, the opportunities in your area, what your interests are specifically, how those interests match with jobs that might be high demand. So knowing specifically how to match a particular person and their interests and preferences with the labor market that they're in and what type of job they want to work in. I did mention financial need. We do, a lot of our services are free. Guidance and counseling is totally free. Interest testing, vocational testing is totally free. Job placement is free. Sometimes people need coaching on the job, and that's a free service. We can hire a job coach to help you on that job, whether it's learning the specific work skills, or sometimes it's people who are anxious in going back to work. And that anxiety, it makes them feel better if they have a partner on the job. And we can hire the job coach, that's free as well. Any internships we plan are also free. Some things do cost money. If you need us to pay for psychological treatment or medical treatment, we do look at people's income and their assets. But that said, we can usually help most people. And even if you're, like I said, not meeting the financial criteria, we still provide a lot of services and you can still be eligible for us in general for a lot of support services. So that's sort of the basic outline, but I will say that vocational rehab can also help with a lot of these barriers that are listed on your screen. If you're in a plan with a VR counselor and you're working toward a job goal, we can add on services as needed. For example, the transportation, the child care. You know, if you're in the middle of school and you're working with a VR counselor and you're financially eligible and your car breaks down, your VR counselor might decide to help you get that car repaired. Or it could be something little like you need to have your license renewed and you just can't financially afford it that month. The VR counselor can help pay for you to get that license renewed to help keep you moving on your pathway. So we do big things and little things in order to help people meet their work goals. One last thing I'm going to touch on, because it can be very common when folks leave school and then return later, in terms of the types of disabilities we serve. A lot of people that struggle during high school either have an individual education plan or maybe not, but they academically had a tough time. Often they could have a learning disability or they could experience ADHD that ends up derailing their high school plans. And those are very common conditions that we help with. And the person could be eligible for our services if they have those diagnoses and need help with the return to school, staying on track in school, returning to work, learning how to focus, maybe get medications taken care of if that's something that you have need for, and just being able to obtain the job and maintain it for a long term, in addition to building a career pathway. So, you know, sometimes when I throw out the word disability or I give diagnoses, people will say, oh, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. But you're surprised at how much the general population, a lot of people are affected by a lot of different things. So if any of the things I mentioned might be something that you think VR might be able to help you with, it's probably worth giving us a call. And you can refer yourself, you can call our office directly, you don't need anybody to refer you.
Thank you.
The best part yet is the celebration. So graduation, college and career readiness students who complete their high school equivalency diploma, we celebrate just like any other graduation. We have an annual ceremony, usually in the late spring. We usually tend to schedule it about the last week of May. When we have that date set, which we are going to nail down very soon, we will be sending out save the dates to all of our graduates and our soon-to-be graduates, and that is each and every one of you. I am planning on seeing every one of your faces at our next College and Career Readiness High School Equivalency graduation. That is an opportunity to wear that cap and gown, walk the stage, and celebrate your achievement with your family and friends. It is also an opportunity. We award every one of our student graduates with a $250 Sandhills Community College tuition scholarship. That tuition scholarship can be applied toward any college class, whether it's a degree class if you decide to go on and pursue a 2-year degree, or any continuing education class that you would like to pursue for career training. That is something every one of our student graduates receive. But there are other recognitions that I want you to know about. So there are 2 exemplary student awards that are also given at our graduation ceremony each year. And that is an additional monetary scholarship gift. And that is merit-based, and it does take into consideration performance throughout the student's time in our program. But there's another honor and recognition I want you to know about, and it's called the National Adult Education Honor Society. It is just that. It's an honor society that instructors nominate students to be members for. Nomination for the Adult Education Honor Society is based on work ethic, attendance, and commitment. It really has nothing to do with grades. It honors adults who demonstrate the commitment and the responsibility and the work ethic that employers are looking for. Because this is your time right now. You are getting the credential that you need to advance your education and advance your employment status. And so with the Adult Education Honor Society recognition, you also receive a certificate and letters of recommendation that you could then utilize, give to an employer, okay? So that's a very exciting time. I want you to be thinking, you're beginning a program right now, but I want you to begin it with the end in mind, because you're gonna do it. You're gonna reach that goal. We're gonna see you at graduation, and we're gonna help you facilitate those next steps that you decide to take into a career training program, degree seeking program, or of course, a new career, okay? Before I ask if we have any questions, I wanted to ask Tess Reagan if she could take us back to this college website. I thought it would be important to show you on our website where you can sign up for those emergency alert notifications. It is something you have to actually click and fill out a form for. So Tess, are you able to share your screen and take us there?
Yes, just give me 1 second to do that.
Are there any questions from anybody while we're waiting? You have a lot of information this morning. There's a lot of good resources. You have a whole team of people to help you get through the next couple weeks or months. Are there any questions about the information you've heard? Okay, so take a look at the screen right now. So Tess took us to the continuing education homepage. Up at the top of the screen, from the main Sandhills website, you see those words. She's pointing right now to where it says continuing education. You're going to go to the continuing education homepage, which is what you see in front of you right now. You're going to scroll down to the bottom. And from this continuing education homepage, right at the bottom there, it's almost hidden. It says sign up for the SCC Emergency and Weather Alert Notification System. Anytime there's a hurricane, anytime there's a flurry in the sky in January and they decide to close schools, they will send out automated alerts. But since we're college and career readiness students, you have to sign up to receive that alert. You will not automatically get it unless you sign up for it. So that's why I wanted to take a second and really show you where this is at. Now, earlier Ms. Kimbrell did tell you that you can also see weather or emergency alerts in a banner at the top of our college's webpage. Yes, it is there. They always post it. So from our webpage, even now, you can see a green banner at the top of the home page. I want you to be aware of this because as things unfold during COVID-19, any major changes to the college's schedule will be posted here, okay? That's important. This is just a way for us to be able to communicate with you, get information to you. So we took a minute, so now you know how to get that.
And one other thing I want to mention, we will be sending information to the instructors as soon as we get off of this Zoom session, and they will be in touch with you about how to log into their Zoom sessions and how to do the online coursework as well.
Stay the course, everybody. Remember what Michelle said. Stay focused. You can do this, okay? Have a great day. Thanks for joining us today. Good luck.